Welcome back to our channel, Coin Hunters. Today we're diving into one of the most beloved and historically meaningful coins in the United States, the Kennedy half dollar. This coin was introduced in 1964 as a powerful tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his assassination, and since then, it has become a collector favorite with a long list of valuable dates, rare mint marks, and exciting era varieties. In this video we'll break down the most important Kennedy half dollars you should look for, explain how condition affects value, highlight rare coins worth real money, and show you exactly what to check in your own collection. Whether you've picked one up from circulation, inherited a coin set, or purchased rolls from the bank, you might be holding something far more special than you realize. So sit back, grab your half dollars, and let's explore the hidden value and rich history behind the Kennedy half dollar series. Let's get started. First up, the 1969 D Kennedy half dollar was minted at the Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark. This year is especially important because it was one of the final years the U.S. Mint produced half dollars with any silver content. After 1964's 90% silver issue, the Mint reduced silver to 40% for half dollars from 1965 to 1970. That means the 1969 D still contains real silver, which makes it valuable even in worn or circulated condition. Many of these coins were saved, melted for their silver, or simply lost over time, making surviving examples in all grades an exciting treasure for collectors today. In very old condition, which typically means heavy wear, harsh circulation marks, dark toning, and scratches, the coin loses some of its visual appeal but not its historical significance. Collectors call this condition good or heavily circulated, and while it may not be prized for its sharp details, it still carries value because of its silver content and because many people enjoy owning a coin that has traveled decades through the hands of Americans, businesses, banks, and collectors. When we talk about market value, we need to focus on three key factors: silver melt value, collector premium, and condition. Because of its 40% silver composition, the 1969 D Kennedy half dollar has a baseline value tied to silver markets, which rise and fall. Even in very worn condition, this coin will never be worth just 50 cents. Its silver alone makes it worth several dollars. This is why collectors, silver stackers, and history lovers all keep an eye on this beautiful half dollar. As of today's collector market, the 1969 D Kennedy half dollar in very old condition typically sells for around $4 to $7, depending on silver prices and the specific look of the coin. Coins with dark toning, heavy scratches, or pitting fall toward the lower end, while those that maintain some shine or readable details trend toward the higher end. However, extremely rare, sharply struck, or nearly uncirculated pieces, especially those certified by grading companies, can sell for $25 to hundreds, and even more when in mint state grades above MS65. Looking back at its history, the decision to reduce silver content came during a time of rising silver prices and a national coin shortage. To keep coins circulating, the U.S. Mint transitioned to clad coinage, but kept the half dollar at 40% silver a little longer due to the coin's popularity after Kennedy's assassination. The 1969 D represents one of the last chapters in America's silver coin era, and that already makes it stand out among collectors who treasure older coins with precious metal content. The design itself also has deep symbolism. On the obverse, sculptor Gilroy Roberts created a bold portrait of President Kennedy, capturing his strength and leadership. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the presidential seal, an eagle holding arrows and an olive branch surrounded by stars. Even in heavily worn condition, this design remains iconic and instantly recognizable. Collectors often admire how the beauty of the design remains visible even after decades of use. Many collectors start their Kennedy half dollar journey with the 1969 D because it is affordable yet historically rich. It marks the near end of silver coinage, the height of the Kennedy coin collecting craze, and a time of major change in U.S. monetary history. Its ties to the silver era and Kennedy legacy make it a perfect entry-level coin that still feels special, especially when paired with the story of a coin that traveled through time, pockets, savings jars, and maybe even across states before reaching you today. For audiences, this coin offers a great opportunity to educate viewers on why silver matters in coin collecting, how mint marks affect value, and how historical events can impact what the U.S. Mint decides to produce. The 1969 D shows how economic pressure shaped American currency, and how the public's emotional connection to a president can turn a simple coin into a national icon. Even a very worn example carries deep meaning. This is a coin that lived through the Vietnam War era, the moon landing, and decades of American change. So if you're thinking about collecting or showcasing the 1969 D Kennedy half-dollar, remember that even in very old condition, this coin remains a little piece of American silver history. It's a reminder of President Kennedy's legacy, the evolution of U.S. coinage, and the era when real silver still jingled in American pockets. Whether you keep it for its silver value, its historical importance, or its beauty, this coin has a story worth telling. And that's exactly why it deserves a special place in your collection. And in today's video, next up, the story of the Kennedy half-dollar begins with one of the most tragic moments in American history, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963. The nation mourned, and within months the U.S. Mint released a half-dollar honoring him. Although the early 1964 issue was struck in 90% silver, rising silver prices and coin hoarding forced the mint to switch to 40% silver from 1965 to 1970. By 1971, the silver era officially ended. That means the 1972 D was part of only the second year of fully non-silver-clad Kennedy halves, making it a symbol of the country's economic and numismatic transition. The 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar had a large mintage. Hundreds of millions were struck. Yet finding one in very uncirculated condition is surprisingly challenging. Most of these coins entered heavy circulation through the 1970s, getting scratched, worn, and tarnished as they passed through banks, cash registers, casinos, and daily transactions. An uncirculated example stands out like a gem. Full mint luster, sharp hair details on Kennedy's portrait, crisp lettering, and a bright reverse featuring the presidential seal. Collectors love this year because fully uncirculated examples remind us exactly how powerful and beautiful this design once looked. In numismatics, condition is king, and the 1972 D demonstrates this rule perfectly. A common circulated coin might be worth face value, but an uncirculated one, especially one that qualifies as BU, brilliant uncirculated, or MS grade, can command a strong premium. Tiny imperfections like bag marks, contact lines, greenish toning, or cloudy patches can affect the grade dramatically. But a well-preserved coin with dazzling luster and minimal flaws becomes a showpiece worthy of a collector's special album or even a professional grading submission. Let's talk about today's market value. In very uncirculated condition, a 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar typically sells for $3 to $8, depending on how strong the luster is and how few marks it has. However, this is only the starting point. Coins that grade MS64 to MS66 can reach $15 to $60, and extremely high-end examples graded MS67 or above can go for hundreds of dollars, often becoming centerpieces of advanced Kennedy half collections. Rare die varieties and sharply struck examples also push prices higher, showing how condition and quality can dramatically change a coin's worth. Even though the 1972 D doesn't contain silver, it represents an important era in American economic history. The U.S. Mint had to adapt to public hoarding, inflation pressures, and a shortage of circulating coins. By turning to copper-nickel-clad metal, the Mint created a durable and cost-effective coinage system that continues to this day. The 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar is part of the early generation of these modern clad coins, a generation that has now aged over 50 years, making it more collectible as time moves forward. The design of the coin remains as iconic as ever. The obverse, sculpted by Gilroy Roberts, presents a bold and confident portrait of President Kennedy, symbolizing leadership, hope, and national identity. The reverse, crafted by Frank Gasparo, showcases the majestic presidential seal with its eagle, shield, and circle of stars. In an uncirculated 1972 D, these design elements often remain brilliantly sharp, giving viewers that breathtaking fresh from the mint appearance that sparks excitement among collectors and beginners alike. For your audience, this coin offers a powerful story and a strong educational angle. You can highlight how it bridges two eras, the post-silver period and the beginning of modern American coinage. Viewers love learning how a coin that once circulated commonly is now becoming more collectible in high grades. This year is also perfect for teaching the importance of mint marks, luster, strike quality, and how grading transforms a coin from an ordinary object into a valuable collectible. Collectors often search for the 1972D because it's affordable and accessible, yet finding it in very uncirculated condition gives it the treasure factor. Many of these coins have been stored away in old rolls, estate collections or forgotten bank bags, waiting decades to be rediscovered. When you show one in your video, your viewers can appreciate how a coin minted for everyday use can survive half a century without losing its brilliance, something that instantly gives it historical charm and collector appeal. So as you highlight the 1972D Kennedy half dollar in your video, remember that its true value comes not just from market price, but from its place in American history. It tells a story of economic change, presidential legacy, and the evolution of modern coinage. In very uncirculated condition, it becomes more than just a half dollar. It becomes a preserved moment in time, a snapshot of the 1970s, and a symbol of how everyday objects can turn into collectible treasures. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, this coin is a reminder that history is always hiding in your pocket. Change. Next up. The Kennedy half-dollar series began as a national tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in 1963. While the early issues of the 1960s contained 90% and later 40% silver, by 1971 the U.S. Mint fully switched to copper, nickel-clad metal, the same composition used for dimes and quarters. The 1993D belongs to this modern-clad era, but it still carries the emotional connection, patriotic symbolism, and enduring popularity that has made the Kennedy half-dollar one of the most widely collected U.S. coins. Most 1993D half-dollars entered circulation quickly, passing through banks, cash registers, casinos, vending machines, and change counters for many years. A coin in very rough condition typically shows deep scratches, dents, dull surfaces, missing luster, edge damage, and faded details, evidence of heavy, long-term circulation. While this condition lowers collector premium, it adds a real-world authenticity, reminding us how coins live long lives before collectors discover them. Even though millions were minted, finding nice examples today is becoming harder. Many Kennedy halves from the 1990s were melted for metal recovery, misplaced in drawers, or lost to time. And because half-dollars stopped circulating widely in the 2000s, most younger collectors never handled them in daily life. This makes the 1993D an interesting piece of early modern U.S. coinage, old enough to feel historical, but new enough to be affordable for beginners. Let's talk market value. In very rough condition, a 1993D Kennedy half-dollar is generally worth 50 cents to $1. That means it does not carry significant collectible value at low grades. However, this coin becomes special when found in higher grades. Uncirculated examples sell for $3 to $8, and certified mint state coins, especially MS-66, MS-67, or rare high-quality strikes, can reach $40, $80, or even over $100 at auctions. So even though your coin is in rough condition, it is still a great piece to discuss in your video. The year 1993 is a fascinating period in American coinage. It falls within the era when the U.S. Mint shifted focus toward producing circulating designs with improved durability and better strike quality. Meanwhile, the economy was stabilizing after the early 1990s recession, and coin collecting was beginning a slow revival. Although the 1993D half-dollar wasn't considered rare at the time, collectors today view it as part of a transitional generation, bridging older silver traditions and the modern age of collectible clad coinage. The design of the 1993D remains iconic. On the obverse, Gilroy Roberts' portrait of Kennedy shows strength and dignity, symbolizing national unity. On the reverse, Frank Gasparo's heraldic eagle reflects America's identity, arrows representing strength, an olive branch symbolizing peace, and a circle of stars expressing national unity. Even in rough condition, collectors can still appreciate the outline of this legendary design that has endured for over half a century. For your viewers, the 1993 D Kennedy half-dollar offers a chance to educate them about condition grading. Show how wear affects value, why rough coins lose premium, and how circulated pieces still hold historical charm. Many new collectors think a coin must be silver to be valuable, but your video can teach them that scarcity in high grades, mint mark differences, and demand from series collectors also play huge roles in determining market price. Another point that makes this coin interesting is that the Kennedy half-dollar stopped being used daily in circulation not long after the 1990s. Most people under 25 have never even held one. This makes every Kennedy half-dollar from before the 2000s a small time capsule, representing a period when half-dollars were still fun to find in pocket change. A worn 1993 D may not be rare today, but it helps collectors trace the final decades when the half-dollar circulated in the real world. So as you feature the 1993 D Kennedy half-dollar in your video, remember that even in very rough condition, this coin holds meaning. It represents history, national pride, and the gradual evolution of U.S. coinage. Its market value may be modest, but its collector significance continues to grow as modern generations rediscover the Kennedy half-dollar series. Whether you're collecting for nostalgia, education, or the thrill of the hunt, this coin is a reminder that every piece of change tells a story, and the 1993 D Kennedy half-dollar is a story worth sharing with the world. Next up. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, created just months after the heartbreaking assassination of President Kennedy. Americans were emotionally connected to the coin, saving huge quantities as keepsakes, which meant half-dollars circulated less and less over time. By the time the 1990s arrived, half-dollars were rarely seen in daily transactions, even though the mint continued producing them. The 1995 D belongs to this unique era, coins made in large quantities but used by only a small percentage of the public, making well-preserved examples more desirable today. The 1995 D was minted in huge numbers, over 26 million pieces, but most were quickly pushed into banking storage, casino operations, armored truck circulation routes, and later into government vaults. This means many of the coins experienced heavy wear, rough handling, or poor storage. A coin in very good condition stands above much of the surviving population because it still shows clear lettering, readable details on Kennedy's hair, and strong definition on the eagle's wings and shield on the reverse. In very good condition, the coin still exhibits a decent shine, a few marks from circulation, and moderate wear around high points of the design. While it is not uncirculated or mint state, a very good condition 1995 D is a nice representation of what circulated half-dollars looked like during the mid-1990s. Collectors appreciate these pieces for their honesty, coins that actually lived through the real world before being discovered by enthusiasts. Let's talk about today's market value. In very good condition, the 1995 D Kennedy half-dollar is worth around $1 to $2. While not a high-dollar rare coin, it still carries a premium above face value because clean mid-grade examples are becoming harder to find. In higher grades, the value increases significantly. Uncirculated pieces bring $3 to $8, and certified mint-state grades like MS65 and MS66 can reach $20 to $80. Ultra-high-grade MS67 coins, which are extremely hard to find due to the mint's striking quality in the 1990s, can sell for hundreds of dollars at auction. The 1995 D also represents an important point in U.S. coinage history. By the mid-1990s, the U.S. Mint was transitioning into a time when circulating coin designs were becoming less used and more collectible. The half-dollar, once a popular coin for everyday shopping, was rarely seen by the mid-90s because stores no longer stocked them and customers no longer received them as change. This shift created a generation of half-dollars that were minted primarily for collectors, giving coins like the 1995 D added historical importance. The design remains one of the most beloved in American numismatics. Gilroy Roberts' portrait of President Kennedy on the obverse captures strength, courage, and leadership, while Frank Gasparo's reverse showcases the majestic presidential seal. Even in very good condition, The details of the eagle, the arrows, the olive branch, and the ring of stars remain clearly visible. These design elements have survived decades of circulation, making the 1995 D a great example for viewers learning about how coinware affects appearance. For audiences, this coin is a perfect teaching moment about the value of modern clad coins. Many people mistakenly believe that only old or silver coins are worth collecting. But the 1995 D proves otherwise. Condition, mint mark variety, mintage numbers, and collector demand all play roles in determining value. As more collectors turn their attention to 1990s and 2000s Kennedy halves, coins like this one are slowly rising in significance. The 1995 D is also notable because it comes from a period when the mint's quality control was improving, yet high-grade coins were still not easy to find. Many pieces left the mint with marks from bagging and shipping. That's why examples with clean surfaces and strong luster become valuable in higher grades. For collectors focusing on completing a full Kennedy half-dollar set, the 1995 D is an essential piece. One that becomes more interesting the more you learn about the changing role of the half-dollar in U.S. currency. Another reason collectors appreciate the 1995 D is because it sits at the crossroads of the old and new collecting eras. The 1990s were the final decade before the explosion of state quarters, commemoratives, and modern collector programs. The 1995 D remains part of the old-school circulating series, minted not for flashy promotion but for real currency use. This gives it a nostalgic appeal, representing a time when half-dollars still had a quiet but steady presence in American pockets. When you feature this coin in your video, you can highlight how modern collectors overlook coins from the 1990s but will likely regret it later. As years pass, these coins age, get lost, or become damaged. Coins in good condition, like our 1995 D, remain essential for collectors completing albums or preserving examples of modern circulating history. The more collectors recognize the importance of coins like this, the stronger its long-term value becomes. So, whether you're a new collector or a seasoned numismatist, the 1995 D Kennedy half-dollar in very good condition is a wonderful reminder that every coin carries a story. From the mint's transitionary era to the shrinking use of the half-dollar in circulation, this coin captures a moment in U.S. history. Its market value may be modest today, but its educational, historical, and collectible importance is undeniable. And as time marches on, the 1995 D will continue to gain appreciation from collectors who understand the quiet beauty of modern-era U.S. coinage. Thanks for watching.